I'm hearing you don't have to worry about what anyone else is doing behind the scenes. You don't have to worry about what people of your past are thinking or doing. God is quite literally aligning you with the perfect love. And like those are the exact words that came through. God is aligning you with the perfect love. And I'm seeing such a clear image of two roads like side by side moving in the same direction, but it feels like this love feels so effortless. It feels so easy. It doesn't feel like something that you need to work for or something that you need to even change or evolve for. It feels like something that is meeting you exactly where you are. And we do have the World card splitting the deck. So I feel like your mind is about to be opened to a new way of being loved. Angels, what can you tell me about this specific love connection that we're tapping into right now? 10 of Wands, Knight of Swords, Queen of Swords, 5 of Swords, and the Empress. Okay, it feels like you walked away from something, or it just feels like you are... like you definitely had to choose yourself in a situation. It feels like you're in like a very emotionally abundant place. It feels like this person who you are in perfect alignment with. It's as if they have absolutely everything that you need in order to feel secure within this connection to this person. Now, the Knight of Swords, I don't feel like this person is taking action towards you. It feels like they're kind of seeing things from a distance right now. But the Queen of Swords, you seem very unbothered in all of this, or you're being guided to just trust. And also, it just feels like you've set very clear boundaries for yourself, or you have a very strong idea of the standards that you wish to be upheld within a connection to somebody. And this is translating the 5 of Swords. You might have recently gone through like a darker time period, or just like a lonelier time period, or this could be where you are currently. But on the other side of this, like it almost feels like loss of some sort is quite literally like the greatest levels of abundance you could possibly imagine experiencing. This person sees you as wish fulfillment. This person sees you as whole, complete. This person sees you as like everything it is that they desire in a partnership. And I feel like for some reason you weren't noticing this about yourself. Like you weren't seeing this, like all while you are experiencing this. It feels like you're about to experience some sort of upgrade. Like your body, your mind, the way that you even just show up in this world it's undergoing a very deep transformation, which was very triggered or activated, if you will, from this connection that you experienced previously to this one that you are about to experience. With the 5 of Swords, it just feels like you're coming out of this dark time period, or you're coming out of uncertainty and stepping into fullness, stepping into authority, stepping into your feminine authority. So it's basically like you're about to be so crystal clear on what it is you desire, so crystal clear on what it is you feel like you deserve and recognize you deserve and believe you deserve. Like it just feels like everything is really coming together. And we do have the King of Wands on the bottom of the deck. Angels, tell me more about this King of Wands. Who is this? I'm hearing kingdom, spouse, soulmate, like kingdom come soulmate. So this is a very strong masculine presence coming through. Somebody who is going to protect your softness, protect your feminine authority, respect your strength, respect your feminine authority. So this person has a lot of respect for you. They hold you in a very high regard. Like this person views you as if you are quite literally a gift from the gods or gift from the universe. Like they see you as everything that they feel like they've always desired and everything that they could possibly want. Now I'm curious to know what this person's actions towards you, or just thoughts, like what are the events that are unfolding within this connection? I'm hearing an unlikely pairing for some reason. Like if this doesn't, you're going to be surprised. Yeah, I keep getting this energy of like disbelief. I feel like you might in the past have struggled with self-image, or just like believing in yourself, or believing that you are worthy of experiencing wholeness and fullness. But with this Queen of Cups energy, I really feel like where this person is able to maintain steadiness, where this person is able to remain steady, you are able to fully express yourself. Like, this person is going to give you the space to fully express yourself, fully speak what's on your mind, fully act out whatever it is you're feeling. Like, they don't ask you to hold back or hide from your truth. In fact, this person really encourages it. They might even be like very playful with you in the way that they encourage you to express yourself, like to a point where you might act annoyed, but at the end of the conversation you both end up like kissing each other and making out. But anyway, I'm going to dive into an extended reading for this. If you would like access to that extended reading, comment Angel Tarot and I will send you the link that gives you access to the community where all of the extended readings are posted. Dear soul, before you leave, don't let this moment become just another video you watched. If something inside your heart stirred while listening, that's not a coincidence. Heaven may be reminding you that your story is far from over. Right now, place your hand over your heart and boldly declare, I am chosen. I am deeply loved. I am not forgotten. God is working for me even when I cannot see it. My breakthrough is coming, and my story is still being written by His hand. Say it again, slowly. Believe every word, even if your emotions are still catching up. Let this declaration silence every lie that told you you were abandoned, overlooked, or too broken to be loved. You are still held by God's promises, and He has never stopped fighting for you. As you step into the days ahead, remember this. Every delay has a purpose. Every tear has been seen. Every prayer has been heard. And every promise God has spoken over your life will arrive at the appointed time. If this message brought peace to your heart, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with someone who may be crying in silence, carrying burdens no one else can see. Your share could become the answer to someone else's desperate prayer and remind them that they are loved, chosen, and never alone. And if God places it on your heart to support this mission of sharing hope, encouragement, and faith-filled messages with people around the world, you can do so through a super thanks. Whether it's $5, $10, $20, or any amount the Lord leads you to give, every offering becomes part of reaching another soul who needs to hear that God has not forgotten them. May the Lord bless every generous heart beyond anything you can imagine. May He restore what was lost. Open doors no one can shut of it. Fill your home with His peace and answer the deepest prayers you've whispered through your tears. Thank you for helping us continue spreading God's love one heart at a time. Together, we are building a family of faith, standing on His promises, walking in His love, and trusting His perfect plan. The last time they saw you, something broke open inside them. There is a moment that exists in the memory of someone who loves you, or is falling toward loving you, that they return to more than they would ever admit. Not a grand moment, not necessarily a planned one. Just an ordinary intersection of time and space where you happen to be present and they happen to be paying attention. And something in the encounter rearranged something in them permanently. A before and after, disguised as a Tuesday afternoon or a brief hallway crossing or a glance across a room that lasted half a second longer than it needed to. That moment exists for this person. And it lives in them with a warmth and an intensity that they carry quietly, privately, like something too valuable to leave out where it might get handled carelessly. The last time they saw you, they have not stopped thinking about it. What happened? When you walked in, there is a particular kind of stillness that happens inside of a person when they encounter something that exceeds their expectations. Not just surprise, something deeper. A momentary suspension of the ordinary internal chatter, the constant low-level noise of daily thought, replaced briefly and completely by a single clarifying awareness. There you are. That is what happened to this person. Whatever composure they had assembled for the occasion, whatever casual ease they told themselves they would maintain, it encountered you and quietly dissolved. Not dramatically, not in a way that was necessarily visible from the outside, but internally, something shifted the moment their eyes found you, because you were not what they remembered. Or rather, you were recognizably, unmistakably you, but more. You had evolved in the space between their last memory and this moment, and their mental image of you, the one they'd been carrying and returning to, had not kept pace with the reality of who you had become. The version they held in their mind was frozen at a fixed point, and the version that stood before them had grown quietly and significantly beyond that fixed point in every direction. They thought, when did this happen? And underneath that thought, barely formed, barely acknowledged even to themselves, how did I not know about this? How did I let this much time pass without seeing this? The private world they've built around you. Here is something that might feel strange to read, but is worth sitting with fully. You occupy a significant amount of private space in this person's inner world. More than you probably know, more than they would feel comfortable admitting if asked directly. They keep things. Not in an unsettling way, in the way that people preserve what matters to them. Images, memories, moments replayed with a fidelity speaks to how much those moments meant. They return to these things not out of obsession, but out of something quieter and more honest. the natural human tendency to revisit what we love when we can't access the real thing. You are the real thing they can't always access, so they hold on to what they have. And on the day they last saw you, all of that private devotion, all those quiet moments of returning to you in the solitude of their own mind collided with your actual presence. And the collision was significant. You are their fantasy, and you also somehow exceeded it. That is not a common experience. Most people find that reality is slightly less than imagination, that the dream version of something is a little brighter, a little more perfect than the lived encounter. But you manage to be more natural, more genuinely attractive, more wholly and authentically yourself than the version they'd been holding in their mind. And that gap between what they expected and what you actually were hit them somewhere they didn't anticipate being hit. The composure that nearly failed them. Think of a camel crossing a desert. It moves steadily, carries an enormous weight, shows nothing of the strain on its face. To an outside observer, it looks unhurried, untroubled, perfectly suited to the difficulty of the terrain. What you cannot see is the reserve it's drawing from, the stored capacity that allows it to appear unbothered while carrying something tremendous. This person has been doing that with their feelings for you for longer than perhaps even they fully realize. They have been containing something large. Feelings that didn't have a clean place to go, that couldn't be easily acted on or neatly resolved, that accumulated quietly in the private spaces of their emotional life while they presented a composed exterior to the world. They have been emotionally carrying you. The weight of what they feel, the longing for something they haven't yet reached toward in silence, efficiently, without letting it show. And then they saw you, and the composure nearly failed. In small ways you may or may not have caught, the carefully maintained containment showed its cracks. A sentence that started and then lost its direction. A look held a fraction of a second longer than casual interest would explain. A nervous energy that was incongruous with the relaxed interaction they were probably hoping to project. They were not unbothered. They were the opposite of unbothered. They were trying, with genuine effort, to appear like someone for whom seeing you was simply a pleasant, ordinary moment, while internally experiencing something considerably less ordinary. The feelings they've been carrying for so long suddenly intensified in your presence and surprised them with the force of it. You feel like something they've been missing without knowing. There was a moment during or immediately after the encounter where something clarified inside this person in a way that is difficult to describe but impossible to dismiss. It wasn't a thought exactly, more like a recognition, like a part of them that had been quietly asking a question finally heard the answer. And the answer was you. The answer had always been you. And they were just now catching up to something their deeper self had understood for much longer. You feel like home to them. Not in the sentimental greeting card way that phrase gets used, but in the specific, bodily, irreducible way. The way that certain spaces or certain presences simply settle something in you that nothing else quite reaches. The way you stop performing when you're really home, stop holding yourself carefully, stop managing the impression you're making. With you, this person experiences that settling, that permission to simply be. And in a world where most interactions require some degree of performance, some careful management of self, that quality you carry is not small. It is extraordinary. It is, for someone who has perhaps spent a long time feeling like they need to hold themselves together in everyone else's presence, the rarest and most precious thing imaginable. You are the place they exhale. The words that didn't come out here is the part that is perhaps the most quietly heartbreaking and also the most human. They wanted to say something to you. They had a whole interior conversation prepared, or at least gestured toward, before the encounter happened. Things they'd been meaning to express. Feelings they'd been circling, looking for the right moment, the right words, the right version of themselves, confident enough to deliver them. And then they saw you. And the words disappeared. Not because the feeling disappeared, the feeling intensified, if anything. But there is a particular kind of paralysis that happens when something means too much. When the stakes feel high enough that the fear of saying the wrong thing becomes greater than the desire to say anything at all. And so instead of the meaningful thing, out came the safe thing, the casual greeting, the surface level exchange, the conversation that stayed carefully away from everything that actually mattered. You, and I want you to picture this specifically, may have even caught them opening their mouth, starting to say something, and then redirecting. Saying something entirely different from what was clearly forming. Or saying nothing when everything in their body language suggested they had something to say. That silence was not absence of feeling. That silence was feeling so large it became temporarily speechless. The deep realization here is the insight that sits underneath everything this person experienced in that last encounter. The one that is worth naming clearly because it changes the way this whole story is understood. The depth of someone's silence about you is often proportional to the depth of what they feel. The people who feel the least tend to speak the most freely because there is nothing at risk, nothing precious enough to protect, nothing that could be ruined by clumsy words or ill-timed expressions. But the person who is genuinely moved, genuinely invested, genuinely afraid of losing something irreplaceable, that person chooses silence or stumbles into it, not out of indifference, but out of the opposite. And this person is afraid of getting this wrong with you. That fear is not a barrier to the connection. It is evidence of how much the connection matters. You don't fumble your words around things that don't count. You fumble them around things that count enormously. What they noticed that you probably didn't expect among all the things a person might notice when they see someone they care deeply about. This person noticed something specific and oddly particular. Your hands, maybe looking for a ring, quietly checking, hoping the answer was no, maybe struck by how expressive they are when you talk, the way you use them to give shape to what you're saying. Maybe simply drawn there in the unplanned, involuntary way that deep attraction often fixes on details the logical mind wouldn't think to prioritize. But they noticed. They were paying that specific, that private, that close, a kind of attention. And the level of detail, the noticing of hands, of movement, of the particular way you inhabit your own body, is not the behavior of someone casually interested. It is the behavior of someone who is memorizing, who is storing, who intends to come back. The urgency beginning to build. Because here is what else was running underneath the surface of that last encounter. A thought this person may not have fully articulated even to themselves, but felt clearly. If I don't do something, I'm going to lose this. You are someone who could be chosen by others, who will be chosen by others if left unclaimed long enough. And this person felt that during your last meeting, with a sharpness that cut through whatever hesitation they'd been using as a reason to wait. The comfortable indefiniteness of someday started to feel less comfortable and more like a risk they weren't willing to keep taking. They went home from seeing you and replayed every word exchanged. Every look. Every moment where they almost said something and didn't. And somewhere in that replay, something solidified. Forward motion is coming. Contact is coming. The movement from private devotion to expressed intentions is building in them with a momentum that your last encounter accelerated significantly. You are their favorite person, whether they've said it or not, after everything, after the composure that nearly failed, after the words that didn't come, after the internal realization that rearranged something in them, this is where this person lands when they think of you. You are their favorite. Not one of them, the one. The person their mind returns to without being directed there. The one whose presence makes ordinary moments feel like they matter more than they otherwise would. The one they imagine beside them in the future without needing to consciously construct the image. It's just already there, waiting. They are not ready to say all of this out loud yet. But they are getting closer. And the next time they see you, which they are actively hoping for, quietly engineering the conditions for, willing into existence with the particular focused energy of someone who has finally decided what they want. Something is going to be different. They are going to try to say that the thing, the real thing, be there when they do. Because what they have been carrying for you quietly, privately, for longer than either of you fully knows, deserves finally to be set down in the open, where you can both see it clearly and decide together what to build from it.